Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to YouDoIt. I appreciate it. Alright, so this area is our next project, and it's going to receive new flooring here. Before I put the padding down and start laying, I want to make sure that my floor can slip under the door jambs. So we just use this. We have this Japanese or undercut, so let's see how well it goes. Riser goes here, overlaps there, nose goes to about here. So all that's going to be glued. So I'm going to run my padding to about this line, which doesn't have to be exact. You don't want any kind of padding, you don't want to overlap. This kind of padding. Another kind of padding that comes with overlap film. They're thin, designed to keep the moisture out. We have a basement underneath. We're in Nevada, not much moisture here at all. So if you're in a high humidity, lots of water, you do want to tape these seams with something like a shipping tape. I'm not going to run the bed under the cabinets. That's very much unnecessary. Which is easy. It's fine. So I cut the thing. The riser and the stair knobs. So this part sits on top of the flooring and this part sits on top of your riser like this. Okay, I'm gonna put it on my mark right there, and I'm gonna put one mark over here, and then I'm gonna put one more mark in line with that wall that's behind the door. We usually take doors off, so this is the only corner that I'm gonna be working at. So that's 1.5 inches to the rounded part, and then 2.25. I'm gonna do 1.5 inches, it goes straight, then 2.25, it goes around like this. Okay, and then 3.5. Goes like that. So I get rid of all that before I go to my saw. I'm gonna do that piece. have any short pieces for this, so I'm just gonna, yeah, so I'm just gonna measure it. So I'll measure this part and that, and of course it's supposed to leave like 1/4 inch gap. It's called an expansion gap, and that expansion gap should follow basically everywhere. Anywhere you go up against vertical surface like walls or tile, I don't know, fireplaces, whatever. Don't go tight to anything. They're supposed to be allowed to expand and contract as they need. So this might have expanded because it's in the middle of the summer right now, everything is hot. So anyway, I'm gonna go 1/4 inch for the expansion gap, so 12 and 5/8. So of course I'm gonna have to measure from here, from that end, 12 and 5/8. Then I'm gonna measure to this with expansion gap, so 2 and 5/8. 2 and 5/8. Now I'm gonna measure to the wall and subtract 1/4 inch, so 14 and 1/4. 14 and 1/4. And now I have to make this rounded part, so I just eyeball it. So this would have been the square, right? You just do this, okay? So if you don't round it up, if you don't round it like this and you do a square notch when you place your rounded corner here, that square notch will show, and you'll have a gap over there. So I'm gonna put an axis on here so I know it's on this side. I know it's on that side, but you know, I'm doing it so you see how to do it, so you do it also. So sometimes you take 5 planks at a time and you go cut them. Okay, so I'm gonna see that I've done everything right before I actually glue it in. Yep. Let's check the other side. Make sure I'm on my mark. Yeah. I probably should tell you a little bit more about this floor, and it's a drop lock. I know we've done it upstairs in the bathroom, but it's a little bit different than this, much different than on this end actually. See, this one, the edge locks by just dropping it down like this, and now it's kind of hooked, right, so I can't separate them. I have to lift it to move it. Anyway, when you're working with drop lock, you gotta make sure you start at the right side. So in other words, if I'm gonna put this plank first, then I'm gonna have a hard time getting this under it. But if I put this one first, then I have no problem putting this one over it. Okay? So I'm gonna put some wood glue in the seam. I don't need much. I just need to glue them together, and it will help me stick it in because I'm gonna force it in. I'm gonna lubricate at the same time. I'm gonna use this. One side goes against the product, another side you strike with a hammer. Alright. So let's see. I'm gonna start at this edge and see if I can zip it in. This one I'm gonna put at the angle so they can. That one I couldn't because of the door jamb. Like a glove. What do you think? Like it? So I'm gonna put a next one. I'm just gonna line it up with that. Now this I can't lift because of this. So again, I'm gonna have to force it. So I'm gonna put my foot actually on the edge, both feet, and I'm gonna start at the edge and try to zip it. Right there. You don't want to go past that line. You can stop hair shorter. So I'm gonna lock it. I'm gonna go past this, about, stick your finger and see how much you want to go. Usually I do 1 inch past this. Okay, and put it on my line. I'm gonna mark it with this edge here, a little shorter, right here. Okay, so this is what I gotta cut out. So here we're gonna do the same. We're gonna measure from this 26 1/4, and from there 27 1/8 expansion gap, right? So 27 1/8, 26 1/4, right? Yes. And I'm gonna measure to this, okay? So you can see about 1/4 inch past this corner on to the inside. So 1 inch. Here's my inch. This gets removed, right? Now And you do have to make sure that the print is not the same, because sometimes they're packaged 3 or 4 identical planks back to back. Now this is easy, right? This is the right way. I'm gonna flip it and turn it the wrong way. Put it up against this, and I'm gonna mark it 1/4 inch short for expansion gap. And I'm gonna mark on which side the blade goes. Let's see what I end up having here. Alright, so here we just remove this lip. Now all these pieces that got removed, I'm just gonna keep them until I need them toward the end. So here, see, identical, so I don't want to use it right over this one. Gonna look ugly. I'm gonna slide it, take another one, see, again, I'm gonna put them together and take this one, just put it just like this way, and take full plank, flip it the wrong way, mark it 1/4 inch short, and this is what gets cut off. And I don't want to do the next one until I'm done with this. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna take 5 planks with me. That's why I gotta put lines and X's so I don't have to remember. And gas. Okay, so let's see if this one lets me, kinda. So I'm gonna help it, and sometimes you do need to strike it over there to get rid of that gap, and that's what this pull bar is for. Okay, I don't need it right now, but I'm just gonna show you. You stick it into your expansion gap, okay? Of course I want to make sure that I'm not going past my line. So the best way on the drop lock is actually put it down flat like this, then lift it up. Isn't it easy? I love drop lock. I'm gonna make a video about this Eternity product. That's my favorite brand. Not because I'm selling it. I don't sell it anymore. I used to have a flooring store, and ever since the Eternity came about, that became my favorite product right away. And not only mine, but all the installers loved it. Has no major issues, not even tiny little issues. It just has no issues. Unlike flooring that you get in liquidation stores or home improvement stores, those are just cheap stuff nobody wants. They liquidate, so you think you're getting a good deal, but in reality you're getting, what's the word for it, pain in the behind. That's what you're getting. So what I want to do here is I'm gonna put a full plank. I'm gonna put it in place. I'm gonna take another one, run as far as I can, leave me enough space to lock here. Okay, why I'm doing that? Because I want to know what my piece that goes over here is gonna be. Okay, and you can see it's not straight, so 5 inches here. No, my bad, it is straight. 5 inches over there. So basically I need, let's see if this is gonna work. I can make it work. Well, now I know it's 5. So what I'm gonna do is measure, now remember expansion gap, right? So I'm gonna measure 4 3/4. I'm gonna put it up against the wall and pull it toward me 1/4 inch. Okay? Alright. I'm gonna take this one, put it over here, and mark 1/4 inch away from there. I'm gonna put it here again, and I'm gonna mark it with this wall 1/4 inch away. Okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and that. Okay, now of course I don't wanna go and cut just a few pieces, so I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna put this one over here, this one over here. Wrong way up, okay? This is how they're supposed to go. Female edge out. I'm flipping it with the male end out. This way I can mark it 1/4 inch short from the edge. Blade goes there. 1/4 inch from the edge. Blade goes there. 1/4 inch. Blade goes there. I'm gonna take this one with me. I'm gonna mark 4 3/4 here. I'm gonna put my X on this side, so I know that's what gets removed. Okay, so these 3 top pieces what got cut off, and that's what I'm gonna begin my next rows with. This way you're basically creating zero waste in the field. I'm gonna put this one here, this one over here. I'm gonna slide this one over so they connect. You can see it slide it in, expansion gap, drop it, press it with your hand there. So this Eternity brand, I was gonna tell you about. They don't joke around. They don't only advertise their products as being premium. They make their products to be premium. They've actually sent their rep to my store every, I don't know, 3-4 months. Every 3-4 months he'd come, and especially when they were introducing new lines like the drop lock and the waxed edge. This Metro line, they had it for a while. Then they decided to convert it into drop lock and the waxed edge, meaning that this lock-in system is treated with water barrier, with wax. This is what it looks like raw. I just cut it with the saw. Notice that there's a color difference. This one is treated with wax. So what happens is basically when water gets on the seams, it won't penetrate into the paper core and it won't get absorbed. Let me show you what I mean. And we had a bunch of those in the kitchen area. That's why that floor had to be replaced. But here, let me take the camera off. You can see, so I can show you what I mean. Look at the light. See the seam is being distorted. Here, you can barely see it on camera, but you can really see it naked eye. And so what happened here is water was spilled here and it got absorbed and penetrating the seam, distorting the seam. You can see right there by looking at the light. So there, you can see it, right? You can see it big time. And so in order to prevent water damage like that, they started spraying wax. And that happened, it's 2018, that happened in 2014. So four years ago, they introduced the drop lock and a waxed edge. That raised the price really by just, what, 25 cents or so? 25 cents is nothing compared to how much trouble and time you're saving actually. Now you don't have to worry about spilling stuff, you know, kids, dogs, and whatnot. So again, I'm beginning here because my female edge is on this side, and so I want the next plank to connect easily. Okay, if I start from the other side, yeah, see, now I have to, it's possible, it's doable, but, and sometimes you have no choice but doing it like that, but it's just easier to start on that side, if you can. All these cuts get used to start next rows. Oops, my bad. It goes over there. The only thing you gotta pay attention to is identical planks. So this and that are the same, so I don't want to use it next to each other, so I'm gonna grab another one. And I'm gonna use this one over here. You do have to pay attention to this corner when you put them down, because sometimes it can get out of alignment, and if that corner catches and you strike on it, it will be damaged here. So just pay attention, and pay attention to these things. You want to get rid of them. So here, let me see, I might just use this. So again, expansion gap on this side. Five and a quarter, so I'll do 5. Five and a quarter, so I'll do 5. And you might ask why I'm not using those two, because if I do use them first, I'm gonna create this much waste on all of them, right? Second, I won't have anything to begin my next row with. So those, I'm just gonna slide them all the way to the back wall until this project is all but ready. I'm gonna try to use them at the very end, okay? Alright, again, wrong way up, mark. Wrong way up, mark. Now let's just do these 3. Bring more boxes in. I'm using my hand as a guide. See? this will go to begin my next rows. This way I'm wasting 0 in the field. I mean, you can't eliminate all the waste. Oh, there. See, something's there. So most of the laminates, you have to force them in. I'm hardly even working with my tapping block. Other brands, you have to use a tapping block every time. So let's get more boxes, and I'm just gonna show you something over there real quick as well. When you bring your flooring in, you want to let it sit. It's called acclimation. It's to acclimate to the conditions of the house, temperatures, humidities, all kinds of conditions. So rule of thumb for the laminate is 3 days, and so you want to stack them in this kind of configuration. Okay, one row goes this way with about inch space in between, then the next row goes crisscross with the space in between. This is how it's supposed to sit for 3 days. You don't have to cut the plastic because plastic is perforated. See those billions of tiny little holes all over the place? That's actually on purpose. So they're not sealed, so they can breathe and lose the moisture if they have to. And in most cases they do have to, because most of the laminates are made overseas. There are a couple brands that make them in US. This stuff is made in China, and there is good Chinese product and there's cheap, crappy Chinese product. This is premium product made in China. You know, iPhones are made in China also, because if they make iPhones in US, we'd have to pay $2,000 for it. Those American workers make I'd say 10, 20 times more than Chinese. So there is good Chinese product, believe me or not. Okay, not the same. This one will go like this. Actually, I'm gonna stick it in place so I can do that piece. Well, I'm gonna have to wait. I can do it, but I'm gonna wait. It's just easier that way. Okay. So I have to slide just past these legs a little bit. I can go all the way in or whatever, so I'm just gonna make a notch first. No, whatever, you know, let's do anywhere and try to stick it in. Just make sure I don't have any seams in this area. Seams supposed to be, the rule of thumb is the width of the plank. So this seam and that seam cannot be closer than 6.5 inches. Nowhere here you can put your seam. Okay? You cannot put your seam anywhere between these two lines. It can be anywhere there, it can be anywhere there, but not anywhere close. 6.5 inches each side. And you also don't want to have seams through one line directly opposite each other. So this one cannot be opposite this one, right? It has to be shifted a little bit, a few inches. So in other words, I don't want to have a seam anywhere here on this one, through one. It can be an inch off this way or more, an inch this way or more. So let's just do this piece, that piece. Hey, how you doing? Alright, so this guy, this leg I'm gonna screw up as much as I can. I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna stick it in. I'm gonna take my tapping block, and again, you never strike on one of the sides. You always strike on one side. Why? Because if you do this, then it's gonna damage your edge. And we're just gonna go like this. Now, I'm gonna take this piece. And we're gonna try to go underneath this leg. It's all the way up. This flooring is thicker than what they had here, so I might have a problem or a hard time with that. Or that's why I decided not to run padding past the legs, because in some spots it's too tight already. So this is beautiful. So I'm gonna unscrew it a little bit. There. Okay. Now let's finish this one. There are two ways you can do it. You can cut it like this, then come back and do that, but I don't like doing this way because I don't like going to the saw twice. So I'm gonna begin with this 16.25. So I'm gonna do 1/4 inch less, right? 16. I'm gonna do this 4 3/4 or 4.5, and 14 3/4 or 14.5. 14.5, 4.5. Okay. So this is my rounded wall. X. And yep, I'm gonna do this one as well. You can do this. You can take a piece of short plank and just stick it here. This way you can measure easily. So this is 46 7/8, so we're gonna go 46 5/8. 46 5/8. That one is 45. Well, let's make it just under 45. Just under 45. Now I can measure this. It's 3 1/4. So 3 1/4. Round it here. Square here. Yeah, let's do these and then do the rest. Don't try to make too many at the same time. Sometimes two, sometimes even one. You have to do at a time. Alright, so here I'm gonna try and slip flooring underneath these front legs. This cabinet is much taller, as you can see. Then the rest, okay, here's identical plank. So I'm just gonna lay it somewhere over there. Beautiful. And I'm just gonna put these guys in place as hard as I can. There's a double. Okay. Now I'm gonna do the same thing over there. I'm just gonna measure and take 1/4 inch out, so 17 1/4. And then take a full plank. Make sure you're measuring from the right side. 17, what was it? 17 1/4? Was it 17 1/4? It's kind of hard to talk and remember things. Did you notice? 17 1/4. What else can I do? Now I can put my full one right here. And let me see if I probably don't want to do that. Because then it's 2 legs. I'm gonna have to go with 1 plank. So I'd rather... can't do that either. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah. So this will go here, so I need a short piece. Do I have a short piece like that? I don't. If I go with this, well, maybe it will let me do. It's hanging over there. It's probably screwed to the wall. Let me actually do that. See, so now I do have to do one at a time sometimes. So here I'm gonna use this to lock it. I'm gonna unscrew this. Some of the staples don't go all the way in. You can knock them down. Just let's see how it behaves. Well, I'm just gonna let it hang for a minute. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put it there, slide it out for my expansion gap. There. Okay. This long pry bar to lift this cabinet. I'm gonna stick it about halfway. Yes. No. Oh, I see. It's even more. It's even more than I thought. But I think I just got it. Yeah. Alright, so halfway is plenty. I'm just gonna line it up so it's not sitting crooked. Yep, right there. And now I can finish. This warranty comes in every box. You want to keep one or two. Be a pain in the butt to do this. So unfortunately I'm gonna have to do a strip there. And that strip is going to be, yep, full plank. And I want to go right to those front legs. You can see I've elected to leave that piece in there. Why? Because all these legs are up all the way. Okay, so in order for me to slip my thicker flooring with a thicker padding, which is thicker than this, under, I have to lift the whole cabinet with the countertop. That might crack things. I don't want things to crack. So I'll just go 1.25 inches. And that should do the trick. 1.25 inches. I'm gonna take, what I'm gonna do, I have a piece of scrap flooring that is damaged. I tossed it because it was damaged somewhere. Right there, a little chip, see? But I can still use it here. You don't throw anything until you're done with the job. So 1.25 inches. I do put 2 marks. Look at that. This cut line falls right on the chip. I do 2 lines, so I'm making sure that I'm doing the straight cut. All right, let's do these 2. Am I filming? Yep, I'm filming. Gotta check. all the way. Let's see. Now this one is all the way up also. Okay. So this plank I want to put kind of in center so it lines it up. So this is a perfect candidate for that, and I probably want to put it first, because I'm gonna have to do the same thing here, and I don't think this is 1/4 inch. I think it's gonna, you know what, I'm just gonna leave this where it is. There's no way. This is a 10mm product. 10mm. This is 12. 12mm is 1/2 inch. So see, almost 1/8 of an inch thicker. They used thin padding. 1/16 of an inch. We're using thick padding, 1/8 of an inch. So we're almost 3/16 of an inch thicker than what this flooring used to be. See, I'm having a hard time even putting that piece in there. So I'm just gonna in there and leave it there and go to it. There's no way I can force this much thicker flooring under it. I'm gonna connect that. Now I'm gonna put this guy up. And now we have to line it all up. Now it's all crooked, obviously. So I gotta make it straight again. Okay, that got forced in a little bit, and this one has to go in a bit. See, wedge-like seam means that this there. Now it's where I want it. Well, almost. So what I'm gonna have to do here, in order to pull this where it needs to go, I gotta build my flooring first, because if I'm gonna try to do it now, it's gonna just separate over there. This one's all the way up as well. Just gonna go to it. Yep. You do want to look at the planks as you're installing them, make sure the corners are not chipped, looks good, no scratches. What about this guy? Doesn't look like it. Nope. Just gonna leave it. Yeah, no way. It's like 1/8 of an inch. I'm just gonna slide it out gently. And just leave them there. And so that one probably will go, or no. Let's try. Step on it over there. There. Let's do more. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish this. It's almost 6 o'clock, so I'm gonna finish the rest of this tomorrow, including putting the bases. Yeah, see that thing? This little piece is gonna keep you from tight fit. like this. See? Let's just put a few more planks. And is that identical? Yes, identical. So we'll go over there. I'm gonna cut you in half. See, sometimes they do come damaged. That's most likely shipping damage. So I'm gonna have to use these to finish my rows. I'm gonna leave it for now. If you have 1 or 2 boxes that are damaged like this, it's not a problem. Don't take them back and return exchange. You're cutting a lot anyway, and you're beginning and ending rows somewhere anyway, so you can just cut off the damaged board. So this one is damaged also. Like for instance this, I can start my row with, right? And put it against the wall, under the cabinet. So I'm gonna, what I usually do, I just mark it like this, so I know it's damaged over there. And I don't grab it by accident, or somebody else. When I was running a installation crew, you have 4 or 5 people on the job. So you don't really know somebody's gonna go and grab that because they need a piece like that and they don't want to go and get a full box. And that's fine, I do that also. I'll go and steal a piece from somebody else if I need to. I'm gonna leave that for tomorrow. Well, I can cut it. And maybe even try to get it under there. Let's just do these 3. One looks perfect. just tap it in. And I'm gonna watch that leg so it doesn't break. Okay. Bring it closer to where it needs to go, and I'm gonna try to lift it on this side and stick it in, and it won't let me, so I'm gonna take my pry bar, this one. I'm gonna put it right this way. Just lift it up. I'm gonna step on it with my foot, and I'm gonna go and zip it. And from there, this pull bar is gonna do it. Unfortunately, I have to strike it with the metal part now. It's gonna be noisy. There it is. Pull it out. Like a glove, you do it. Alright, time to go home. Alright, day 2 of our laminate project. Got the padding down. Got everything ready to start. So of course we're gonna go around the island. So first we're gonna do this. Get out there. Get to this cabinet. Then we'll do this. Tie into that and do the rest. That's the plan. Okay, so of course we start here. See if I can stick this full plank under these 3 legs. So let's try. Of course, if you live somewhere beside Nevada or Arizona, basically if you live in a high humidity climate, you don't want to take all these seams. We're in Nevada. The problem here is lack of humidity. This leg has a lot of clearance, which is great. Just make sure I can stick it back. The flooring in here. Doesn't work. But won't let me do that. Okay, so I'll try to put it where it has to go. Give me a hard time. Okay, there. All right, it's good. Okay, I'm gonna put it over like this and slide it toward me. I'm gonna lock it in place. Okay,
starters. Okay. Let's see. Do I want these front full planks here? But it's not too much waste. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run full planks here. I'm gonna assist with this. Shove it under, and then step on it, angle it down. And zip it in. It's gonna be harder to do. Let's see. Just we'll hang for a second. How about you? I definitely need you to hang for a second. First I want to make sure that I don't put identical planks back to back. Okay, alright. Now this one I have no choice but to force it in. This one doing good. I can start from there. Yep, a little bit more clearance on that side. Again, I'm gonna put my foot over here with my tapping block. I'm gonna go and zip it. See? Bloody love. So 3 identical back to back. So you have to pay attention to that. It's easier to pay attention to that, believe me, than to take things apart. I'm just going to shift it. Shift it so they're not on the same line. I can use one of those. What do you think? And that's... Yep, here I'm going to have to slide it over. I'm going to slide it over with my pull bar. Here, I'm just gonna lock this plank in place so I can do my next one. I'm just gonna line it up here and then 1/4 inch away from the wall. Now I'm just gonna do measure, and I do advise you to take measure here and here. Just look at it. If it's straight, so it's 4, you're gonna do 1/4 inch less. So here's 1. So these are pretty straight, so I'm gonna do under. And this way, well, I'm just gonna have to find out if that's gonna hit the wall or not. It's gonna go in 2.5 inches. It might be just perfect. Okay, since this is a drop lock, you kind of have to put it under this previous one before we force it in, otherwise things will break. So let's see. Up. Now I want to put this plank dead center. Well, kind of, right? So basically I want to get its line. I'm going to continue the line, and it's going to basically align on itself. No need for chalk lines. So I'm going to make sure it's tight here, and just drop where it needs to go, basically. So we're perfect here. So I'm going to... What I'm going to do? Okay, so how do we make this one? I'm going to trace the line here. Of course, it's not 45. Right? You can find out the angle with angle meters or whatever they call it, but I have a different. So you basically trace this to where you put a mark like this. Now you know your 0 is here. And you measure this distance, it's 5 3/4, subtract quarter, 5 1/2. And now we measure this one's 5 1/2. So now all you have to do is connect your lines. Okay. And here, another way of finding the angle, just putting it somewhere close and parallel to your floor. And then you can take a plank and stick it like this. Make sure this is the same. Here's your line. Same thing. So to do this, there are several ways. The easiest being this. You line it up against the edge of your plank and you slide the tape over, creating basically a straight edge. Go all the way to the wall, look at the reading, take 1/4 inch off. So 35 and 5/8 or so. 35 5/8. Let's do 35 and a half. Now, of course I measure 35 and a half from this side. I put my mark on it. Now I have to find out this angle. And to do that, it's not 45. To do that, I'm gonna put a plank against this. This one goes against that, see? I'm gonna slide it out and find my mark. And there it is. Okay? Now obviously I wanna install this piece before this one. And here's that issue with the drop lock. You start from that end. In this case we just had to go the opposite direction. Now I'm gonna have to try and force it. I can also unlock this just temporarily so I can stick it in. I'm gonna put it back. Yeah. So from this point, I'm gonna start from there.
So on this corner here, we're keeping the riser. Let's see if I have to cut it. I'm gonna have to trim it down. See how high it is? Of course it's easier to do it now. Okay, so here I'm just gonna hook it and then mark it and then take another 1/4 inch again for the same purpose. Expansion, contraction. This thing sits here, right? But it cannot sit like that. It needs to have room to move under. Expand, contract. So I'm gonna hook it here, slide my piece underneath, take it out, make a small mark, and then make a bigger 1/4 inch away. Get this pad out of the way, and that's actually the line. Okay, take it where it goes. And so basically I want my molding to end with this, right? So for that to happen, I want my flooring to go just 1/4 inch past that line. And then I'm gonna trim that on the back and it will sit on top. I'll do some trim here. I'm gonna cut out this part like this much. So here it is. So my next piece is this. Okay. So what we do here, basically, and then it's gonna go in. An inch and an eighth. So mark a line here. I do inch and an eighth. Take my square. This is the rounded part of the corner. Okay. And I'm just gonna go and notch it. This way I'll stick it in place and trace the rest. It's gonna be easier. Now I can take any plank and put it on my line here. Line it up. Here's that line, and now I just have to do this corner. So I'm gonna trace this, stick it in place, and this is my 90 against the wall. Of course you can use square to do that. So here it is. These are too short to do. You don't want to do this with short pieces. So I'm just gonna put them here again with about 6.5 whatever inch space in between. Make sure they're not identical. Make sure they sit tight against each other. Now I'm going to take a straight edge and I'm going to connect this to that.
Okay, so here, you don't want to force anything. You don't want to push it there too much. But it's still extremely gentle. You can, or you probably should, reinforce it here. Let's do that. Let's reinforce it. Well, now I have enough to finish that cabinet area, so I can tie with the rest of it. And let's just do that. full piece here. Let me just make sure I'm recording. Anyway, yes. Okay, so anywhere here is good. And I'm going to sit here like that for now. And we can go and do the rest of the thing. Yeah? Remember that box that came with broken edges? See this damage here? I'm just going to use them under these cabinets here. All of them will go under the cabinet.
Now all I got to do is to connect these two together. They should be on the same line. It's a laminate. You cannot do it wrong because they're all interlocking. Hardwood, when you do hardwood, sometimes they can be out of alignment, but laminate, if you go straight,
Alright, so last tricky cut here, and then we have a wide open room. So I'm going to mark all the... Here, I know it's going to be here. So I'm going to mark this corner, I'm going to mark this corner. You can use a square or just eyeball. I'm going to mark that as well. Okay. Now, I want to grab a few short pieces like this. This. Now I have all my measurements. So this one is going to be under 2, so 1 3/4. Okay. You trace this line, and here it is. So we're here. Now we're going to go to this point, 4 3/4. There's 4 3/4. And we're going to go to this 4. Oops, sorry, my bad. 4. And of course I know my mark is here, so you connect here, here, and now we connect the dots. Here's one, here's another, and here's this guy. Okay, all that, I'm gonna go and cut off. What do you think? Perfection. Look at that! You do it! Okay, I'm gonna gently tap here, okay? I don't wanna force this all the way into the living room.
I want to create a step pattern, but I don't want to make it uniform. It's supposed to be random. So don't do these steps same distance. Otherwise you're gonna have to follow that throughout the whole project, and you're gonna have to burn lots of product to do that actually.
So don't make it as random as possible. Okay, now from here it's a piece of cake.
Alright, so at the end of the wall, I'm about to cut all the short pieces here, already marked them, stacked them. Now, before I go and cut all of those, actually want to cut the last one also, just so I have it here. Okay, so since this is all the way to the wall there, and this one also, then I'm gonna mark it ½ inch shorter, okay? Quarter here, quarter over there. Okay. So let's take all that, cut it, and be done with it. It's about time. Hey, Chapa, you do it. Okay, so all these are leftovers for the next job, I guess. I might use some of them on the stairs. I love drop lock. I don't know about you guys. That's my favorite system. Look how easy it is. Okay, so now to the last row. I'm just gonna put it together. Mark, rip. Alright. So I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna measure at the seam. It grows to 3 1/4. From 3, yep, to 3¼ again. I'll measuring this seam here. So 3 7/8, but we're gonna make it 1/4 inch short, right? You should be pros by now. Yep, 3 5/8. Do double check things. It's easier to double check things than to double cut things. So 3 7/8. This one is 4 1/8. This whole thing is off. What was it, 4 1/8? Just double check. One 3/8. And this is normal. This is very normal. 4 5/8. You're not gonna get a perfect straight wall anywhere in the world. So now I'm just gonna, just put them in the order. Now since they're off, I gotta do the line. Hold your horses. Gotta do the line. I can do eyeballing and cutting it, and you can definitely do that since I'm showing how to do it. I'll just do the line real quick. No. Let's do this line. Now, one thing Home Depot can do actually is come up with a pencil that is like white. There's lots of gray floors and dark floors are being made lately. So white would be great. Thank you very much. Alright, let's make our last cuts. So one by one, before you drop it, actually want to stick this in there, okay, so it doesn't just fall but goes where it needs to go. There. I'm gonna drag these things with me in case I need them. So again, stick your finger in there, take that pry bar, and then let it out. See? It falls, usually. Usually it does go where it needs to go without the effort. Alright, again, before I let it go, put a pry bar, then kind of wiggle it in place. There you go. Alright. What do you think?